what if I told you that there's two brothers from Kerala who are trying to change the way that you deal with your documents? In fact, taking your documents into the digital age. I have with me the Tharakan brothers. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Bloomberg Quinn. It's a pleasure to have you guys. Tell us a little bit about MyEasyDocs.
So, MyEasyDocs is a digital version of a bank process, an equivalent system for documents. So, you're able to do a lot of things with money online, but you can do very little with documents online officially.
Right.
So, what if you could do this official part of the documents online?
Right.
So, it's exactly what a bank would do with your money. We're doing the same thing for documents. So, it's a certified document locker. Where you can store all your important documents online.
Right.
Not the store, but these have been certified and authenticated by whoever is giving it to you in the first place.
Right, and you guys set this up 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, we set this up 7 years ago.
And you quit your jobs to set this up?
That's right.
It's a dream story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's it been like? What's the last 6 years been like? Because we know that even the government has a DigiLocker service. Is this very different than what's already out there?
Yeah, it's somewhat similar. We started off in 2010 and we've been pitching this program to the governments for some time. And that's when 2015, when the document locker, digital locker was announced.
Right.
But of course, right now, there is a digital locker license that the process gives to private players such as us.
Right.
So it won't be exactly the same, but there are value-added services that we provide, such as applying for the documents, certifying your older documents, like demonetization. You could surrender your papers to the issuing authority and get back a complete digital version into your account. Right. Once the whole process is verified and certified. So like I said, this exactly same what a bank does. We're still doing the same thing for documents. So the last 6 years, it's difficult to create an industry. You can create companies, but what we've actually done is we've created an industry called the digital locker industry. And that is tough. And the last 3 years has been good because of the government's announcements and supports, we're actually telling what this is all about. There's no concept selling.
Right.
Now we're just going out and marketing our services across.
But has it been difficult, Thomas, for you guys when you're pitching, especially to governments?
It was initially, but since the digital locker came, it's complementing our services. Now, when I go to a government institution, I don't actually have to say what this is.
Right.
The government has already said it for me.
Right.
So it's become easy with the government coming in.
It's become easy.
And like we said, you're actually creating a whole new industry. So the digital locker today is not a business, it's not a company. The digital locker is a whole new industry that's coming to India perspective.
Right.
So if anyone asks you what was the last innovation that came out from India, we can proudly say that digital locker is truly one of them.
Interesting. But in terms of a use case, what would your typical use case be? Right, just so that the viewers could understand how this works, how MyEasyDocs Docs Wallet really works.
So primarily our primary clientele has been universities and education, because the education market requires that some verification happens to these documents. If you're a doctor, you want to join a hospital, you have to get them certified. So there was this huge problem making it offline as the process of applying for the document and sending it online, offline. So we brought it into a more easy way of doing this.
Right.
You could apply for the certification of the document online, completely online.
Right.
This is given to you in a digital locker account from the university.
Right.
And this is forwarded or submitted electronically to the final destination.
Okay.
So the whole process of what took really 3 months and probably 1 or 2 visits to the universities came down to just sitting over a coffee at your house and applying for the document and sending it across.
Right.
Right. So that is the kind of ease that we have actually given the consumers.
Right.
And it's in trickle. It's coming in trickles. If you ask anybody who's worked with us or our solution, they really know that going to a government office, applying for the document, waiting for it to come to you in physical format, and sending it back to the final destination. That's a cool 3 months. And we have had cases where people have actually lost jobs because verification does not come back in time internationally. Indians lose a lot of jobs. They're already selected. They've been asked to come and join the entity, but because the verification has been delayed, they're not able to get the jobs with them.
But also, guys, this is not a solution only for universities in the education sector. You can use this for consular services with governments of other countries. It's not a local solution. It can be. It can be.
That's a whole exciting part. I mean, working with for a global solution and not just an India-centric solution is a whole exciting part of this. And I think we want to see a lot of cultures and build businesses globally as well. So this has been a real great growth program for us. We were able to prove the system, it's working. Like we said, we've created an industry into it, the government formalizing such a service, and we're getting queries from a lot of countries to set this up for them, because they also want to give documents in digital lockers, because obviously people also want to apply for documents or jobs or whatever completely online. And we've had requests to neighboring countries, the Middle East, emerging markets in Africa as well. So we hope to expand to there as well pretty soon.
To add on what he said, in the use case scenario, other than the education space, we started with the banking segment as well.
Right.
Wherein anyone applying for a visa, instead of carrying the 6 months of stamped document and courier it across, you can e-share it to the embassy and have it processed. It's that simple.
But I'm guessing when you guys set this up 6 years ago, and you guys are the co-founders, security must have been of paramount importance, right? Considering we're living in the digital age, and this is anyways a new concept to take, physical paper documents and digitize them in an encrypted format which is safe to transact with, but safety and security would have been of paramount importance. How do you guys achieve that?
So first of all, we partnered Microsoft for the Azure cloud, which basically takes our entire database security, probably one of the best certifications in the world. And we have our own internal staff that check the security of the process every day. So your security tomorrow, yesterday or today is not the same as tomorrow. So if you ask me this question tomorrow, my answer is to be different, because you're facing a lot of threats as in when it comes to real time. So we use experts, and that's why we also have been incubated by IT as well, to look at more encryption technologies that comes in. Whatever is required to make the documents safe. So it could be hacking or whatever it's going to be. And like I said, because we have the Azure cloud platform, it takes care of a variety of security issues, and that's the beauty of the cloud. Otherwise, we would have to invest in our own servers, and all of that investments and technology and security would have to come out from us. And I think that's how cloud really made a game changer for people like us in the market.
But that's one way to ensure security. What about privacy?
So in our case, nobody sees the document as it is. So even when you, let's say, outsource documents to a third party, a bank or whatever, even the outsourced party sees the document at the end of the day. We have visa offices that outsource visa application to third parties. But end of the day, that outsourcing party does see the document, with his eyes. But in our case, because the whole program is completely electronic, none of our staff, none of our employees, even myself, have absolutely no access to those documents.
So the only authorized people, that is the receiving party or the issuing party or the owner itself, those are the only 3 people who can see this document.
And they all have to be, tuned into this ecosystem, your website or your platform. That's the way to share.
That's right. You have to open an account. So it's like if you want to transfer money online, the first thing that you have to do is open an account. So the first thing that you need to do when you want to transact documents online, send documents officially. So today you can't send them officially at all. If you want to do it from the MyEasyDocs platform, same thing. What you do with the bank, you go and open an account. So just like financial inclusion, document locker inclusion has to be there, because if you lose them, you only realize its importance when you actually lost them. Not while it's actually there.
No, that's interesting. And I also, what was it like really quitting your jobs to set something like this up? Also, as a follow-up to that, is this completely funded by the two of you, or have you got some investors externally as well?
So quitting our jobs. So it was
so he was in banking, so there were pain points in documents as well, especially with KYC and all those things. I was in audit, tons of papers you have to look into. Again, a pain point. So that's where we realized there should be a solution for this. You have everything in your Dropbox or any DMS system for that matter, but why can't you exchange it between 2 people or 2 governments? So that's how we came up with this idea, and we got backed up by IIT Madras, where we got the technology ready, and we went to market.
So we got our funds primarily from friends and family. So the last investment came from a gentleman in Abu Dhabi, Arab local based out of Abu Dhabi.
Who seemed to like your idea.
Yeah, he was a former CEO of Noor Bank.
So he had a little banking background as well.
So people across the globe, when you look at documents and the way they exchange, especially in banking, realize the pain points. The bank actually allows you to send and receive money, but if the bank were to ask you to send anything in paper, they still ask you to send it physically. Ultimately, today nobody has invented a solution where a person can send documents electronically, and that's where we're coming into.
Fair enough. And so also he spoke about quitting his job. What was it like for you?
So I started this idea a few years back, and while I was working, it was a very vague idea. But I think that's when the startup boom started happening in India as well. New ideas were forming across, And I thought about it a few times more. There was no solution that was coming to this at any point of time. And at that point, it's just the decision, where you want to go for it or you just say no. And once your idea sort of captures your mind, it becomes very difficult for you to continue employment. So it's just automatic, once the entrepreneurial bug bites you, it's like an emotion. It's like somebody making you laugh. You cannot stop laughing. So once the entrepreneurial bug bites you, you just follow that, and everything happened for the good.
So you guys are originally from Kochi, but you moved to Madras to Chennai for this particular startup. Are you guys planning to open offices anywhere else in the country?
So we're not looking for offices. It's mostly sales teams who can close companies, so they can work out of we don't actually need physical offices for the sale. But yeah, we have representative offices in Delhi and Mumbai because we work with a lot of governments in Delhi, and we are starting to work with a lot of financial institutions and universities in Mumbai as well, primarily because of the documentation and the banking sector.
Have you guys broken even?
Yeah, so we just broke even last month.
All right.
That's a big blessing for us.
Because it's very easy. So you have to just decide when are you going to just throw out the entire user base, and when you consolidate. As long as the key to consolidation is in your hand, you can just go either way. So we just said, okay, this current scenario requires you to break even than anything else. So we just $1 million in revenue totally, and we've done about 100,000 transactions and locker operations. And so the next stage is to go to the growth, hopefully apply for the document locker license, and go forward even faster.
Super, guys. Thanks so much for joining us on Bloomberg.
Thank you so much.
It's a fantastic story. I'm glad we could document it. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Bye.